Labour unions continue to question the value of temporary employment service providers in the current environment. To help us unpack that is Tebogo Moalusi, who is with Workforce Staffing. Thank you so much, Tebogo, for your time today. So how does a temporary employment service provider differ from a labour broker?
Right. Thank you, Tiki. In as far as a temporary employment service provider as well as a labour broker, it's pretty much one and the same. The only thing is that the Labour Relations Act perhaps gives us a definition as to what a temporary employment service provider is. And this new legislation came in 2015, whereby they actually gave us perhaps further amendments, because before then, Section 198 had already been in existence.
Because there had been concerns, obviously, about labour brokers and how they operated. So I suppose the new legislation or the amendments were to tighten up the concerns that had been raised.
Yes.
So currently, what is the role of a TES provider?
All right. So a TES is actually a hack to normal business. So, for example, like us, Workforce Staffing, we take away all the pressures that one would have in business. For an example, all your human capital management, we take care of that. Your industrial relations, human resources, all those kinds of things we can take care of. And we answer the question to flexibility, because, you know, in any business, you need flexibility, and perhaps Workforce Staffing is able to answer that question, or perhaps solve the problem that you have in your business.
Flexibility in what way?
So, for an example, if you're building a solar plant, you'd need staff for a certain period. So as a temporary employment service provider, we're able to provide employees for that certain period and ensure compliance as far as your Labour Relations Act compliance, Basic Conditions of Employment Act compliance, and all the other legislation.
Okay.
So as an employer, as a business, you don't have to worry about those.
Who do the employees, the workers, work for?
All right. Of course, we spoke about the new legislation. Previously, before the new dispensation, pre-2015, then it would be, the employee would be the employee of the TES, and that's it.
Okay.
But with the new dispensation, an employee is both an employee of the TES and the client.
Okay.
But this comes into effect after 3 months, and it's only applicable to employees who earn below the threshold.
On what's the threshold?
I don't have the exact amount, but it's on about just over 200,000 per annum.
Okay, so in this case, if you are, if you've got a job,
Yeah.
and it's a temporary job and it's under 3 months, you are contracted to the temporary employment service provider.
Yes, that's
The
correct.
moment you kick over 3 months, then you have dual employment.
Yes. But what's important, Tiki, is that that whole notion is also being tested at the Labour Court. There's a case called the Assigned Services, right, which has started from the CCMA and has worked itself up to the Constitutional Court. Only that in that particular case will we have a clear definition as to whether will we go for dual employment or sole employment. But however, everybody's still waiting to get the outcome from
So in a case like that, if a dispute does occur, I wonder, just as the employee, you know, who is responsible for me? I think that was part of the issue in the past, right? Was that people were like, well, actually, you don't work for the company, you are contracted through the labour broker, and that's where a lot of the tension came through, particularly when it came to issues of dispute. So under the current system, who would be responsible for sorting out those problems?
All right. So currently under the new dispensation, so if, for example, a dispute arises, the employee can either choose to launch a case against either the client or the TES.
Okay.
All right? So both the client and the TES have a responsibility towards the employees. That's why in every business, or perhaps in all these TESs, you need to ensure that you contract with the right TES. And in terms of us, Workforce, we ensure that we protect the interest of the employee and our client. So we uplift businesses and uplift employees.
So are you making human resource departments obsolete then in companies?
No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
But we perhaps give an extra helping hand to those businesses perhaps that are not equipped or don't have the resources to that point. But even those who are equipped and perhaps have those kinds of resources, they also need flexibility. So when they come to TESs, and we can be the solution.
Okay, we'll leave it there.
Thank
Thanks
you
for your time. Today, Tebogo Moalusi is with Workforce Staffing. Now,